Good evening. Today is March 22nd, 2016. Back in December, I had a dream and I didn't put it out. I was just kind of waiting to see what was going to transpire this year a little bit. And so, considering the bombing that happened in Brussels, I thought, well, this might be a good time to put it out. So, in my dream, I was in a diner and I was observing. I was an observer, and there was this. The diner was empty except for there was Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were in a booth, and they were adjacent to the kitchen. You know how you have like a counter where people can sit at stools and stuff like that. So they were in a booth adjacent to the counter, and the kitchen was clean. It had white subway tiles in the kitchen, and the booth that they were sitting in had very high backs to them, so high that you couldn't really see who was sitting in the booth. But I was standing, looking at the booth at them, at the two of them. They were across from each other, and beyond the booth, I could see the kitchen, and they weren't eating anything. They were just strategizing, I think, because they were kind of leaning in towards one another and talking. And I didn't know what they were saying. They were just talking. And like I said, it had very high backs to them. Now, Hillary Clinton's back was to the door. And there was probably, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 booths before you got to the door. The only booths that had high backs were the ones that they were sitting in. All the rest of them had normal backs to them that you would see in a diner, so that they hit you so that you can see who's sitting in the booth. So as they were talking to each other, the door opened and Benjamin Netanyahu walked in the door, and with probably like 2 different Secret Service people, his bodyguards or whatever. And Barack Obama kind of leaned out from the booth to look at Benjamin Netanyahu come in, and he stood up out of the booth and looked at Benjamin Netanyahu. So Netanyahu then moved over to the corner booth, like the very corner booth that was in the diner on the very far side. So like in line with the door. And he was sitting so that his back was against the wall, so he could still see kind of Obama as he was standing up. And then his Secret Service people sat in the booth, so their backs were then to Obama, but were facing Benjamin Netanyahu. So he sat down and sat there. So Obama sat back down into the booth and continued to talk to Hillary. And the door opened again, and it was Putin. And behind Putin was like 200 people that were like armed. And so I wasn't really sure what to make of the dream. And I'm still not 100% sure, but I'm leaning towards at the end of Obama's administration, that war is going to be breaking out, and Hillary is going to win the presidency. And so there's this exchange of information between the two of them as this is going on. And so I'm not sure if that's the interpretation or not, but I thought I would put it out there because things seem to be heating up and moving forward in a pretty rapid pace here. And so I thought I would I thought I would put that out there. So, and I'm not sure if war is going to be breaking out prior to him leaving office or not. So I'm still unclear about that. I do know that the subway tiles were brought to my attention, and so that's like a underground, things that are going to be not shared with the public, I think, of the situations and the tensions that are going on behind the scenes. And so I'm not really sure about all of that either. So, but that's kind of my impression of it. So, um, let me know if you have any other thoughts on that. All right. May Yah bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you. Shalom.